I never believed in signs, fate, or messages from above. I lived like everyone else. Work, the way home, social media, a random show playing in the background. Until one evening I got a message that wasn't supposed to exist. It was an ordinary, painfully regular Wednesday. Rain, damp air, fog. That kind of mood where you just want to get home, put the kettle on, and pretend the outside world is on pause. I entered my building, tapped my key card. The lock clicked, as usual. Went up to my floor, reached for my keys, and froze. My front door was slightly open, not wide, just a narrow gap, a few centimeters. But I knew. I always lock my door. Always. It's a ritual. Click, pull, leave, and now, a gap. As if someone had just gone in, or just stepped out. I stood there, holding the key, listening. Inside was quiet. No TV, no footsteps, no rustling. Just the suffocating silence of the hallway. I'm not one of those horror movie heroes who goes in without a thought. My first reaction was simple. Maybe I forgot. Maybe I rushed in the morning. Then another thought slid in. And if someone is still inside? I gently pushed the door wider and called out, "Hello? Anyone there?" Silence answered me with perfect, indifferent calm. I stepped in and turned on the light in the hallway. Shoes in place, jacket on the hanger. Nothing looked broken or tossed around. I checked the kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. Everything looked untouched. Even my laptop, which I sometimes forgot to lock, was right where I left it. It felt like I had walked into a copy of my apartment. Perfectly accurate. But something small was off. And I couldn't tell what. I blamed it on being tired. Closed the door carefully this time, double-checked the lock. Put on the kettle, changed clothes, dropped my backpack by the couch, and automatically picked up my phone. That's when it happened. A notification popped up on Telegram from an unknown number. Black profile picture. No name. One line of text. "You locked the door properly? This time?" Good. I froze, staring at the screen. You know those moments where it doesn't hit as fear right away? The brain starts rationalizing. Spam? Prank? Some friend messing with me? Only then does the cold wave slowly rise from your stomach to your throat. I typed back, "Who is this?" It showed red instantly. The reply came a few seconds later. "The one who's already been inside your home." My eyes wandered around the apartment again. That strange feeling that something was wrong flooded back. Stronger this time. Like a faint smell of smoke when you don't see any fire. I typed, "What do you want?" The reply was longer. "You have one trait that will save your life. You notice small things? The question is, will you notice all of them?" I gave a nervous little smile, thought, "Okay. Someone is messing with me," I sent. "Very funny. Who are you really?" Reply, "Look at your fridge." I slowly lifted my head. The fridge stood where it always did, white, with magnets from different trips. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was one magnet, a small black rectangle with the word "Remember," was in the wrong place. I knew for sure. It was always on the top right. Now it was in the middle. Someone had moved it. Someone decided to change something tiny, just to test whether I'd notice. I walked up to the fridge, touched the magnet. Another message came in. "Good. You're still on time." A chill ran down my back. I started typing, "How did you get into my apartment?" Then stopped. If this was a break-in, I should call the police, get the locks checked, ask about building cameras. But something held me back. It was all too specific, too delicate. Instead, I wrote, "What are you after?" Pause. "I want to tell you a story, and you're going to live it, step by step. If you do everything right, you'll make it to the end. Dramatic. Over the top. Trying too hard to be creepy. But that magnet? I didn't touch it. And the door? That wasn't an accident. Fine, I wrote. I'm listening. The answer. Rule 1. Tonight, you'll hear a knock at your door. You will not open it. You won't even look through the peephole. You will just count to 30. If you manage, you get another day. I took a screenshot and sent it to my friend. Look at this clown. He replied with a laughing emoji and, Bro, that was me in your hallway. Your lock is trash. But I knew. He didn't have my building code. Or my keys. Just in case, I put the extra chain on the door that night, turned the phone to vibrate, tried to sleep. It took a while, but eventually, I drifted off. Somewhere in the deep of the night, I woke up. 3 slow, calm knocks on the door. Knock, knock, knock. I shot upright in bed. My heart was pounding so loud it felt like the whole building could hear it. Looking at my phone wouldn't help. Time didn't matter. What mattered was, someone was at the door. I remembered, don't look. Don't open. Count to 30. It was so stupid that I almost got up to check anyway. Instead, I stayed sitting on my bed, feet on the floor, breathing shallowly. I started counting in my head. 1, 2, 3. At 8, the knocking came again. Same rhythm, same 3 knocks. 10, 11. In my mind, I saw myself walking down the hallway, leaning toward the peephole. And seeing what? A neighbor? A kid? Empty space? 15, 16. No third knock. Just thick, suffocating silence. 29, 30. I didn't open. Somewhere between fear and exhaustion, I fell asleep with the phone in my hand. In the morning, there was a new message. Rule 1, completed. Good. Now Rule 2. Today you'll take a different route to work. If you go the usual way, I won't text you again. Others will. I felt a flash of irritation. I was being led on a leash. But I was also curious. Too curious. It felt like I'd become a character in someone else's script. So I followed it. Took a different path. Through the yard, then around the block. I was 10 minutes late. At work, I opened the news, and my mouth went dry. On my usual route, at the intersection where I always stop at the light, there'd been an accident that morning. A car jumped the curb. 1 pedestrian killed. Age, build, hair color. Very close to mine. The phone vibrated. Rule 2. Completed. Still with me? I stared at the screen. No more jokes. I typed, "Who are you?" "The one who sees a little earlier than you do," came the answer. "And a little earlier than the others." Shall we continue? I realized I had already agreed. The moment I didn't open the door. The moment I noticed the magnet. Days started to blur, and the rules kept coming. Short. Precise. Don't use the elevator today. The elevator got stuck for 3 hours that afternoon. Don't answer the unknown +44 number. That number later appeared in the news as part of a fraud scheme. Don't sit by the window on the bus. That day, a piece of brick or concrete fell from a rooftop and shattered the exact bus window I usually sat by. I started living as if every harmless detail could be a trap. Or a test. Fear slowly merged with something else. A twisted sense of gratitude. Someone, or something, was steering me around stupid, random dangers. Like an invisible instructor. But the question kept growing. Why me? And when would the bill come? One evening, a new message arrived. Time for the final. Rule 3. Tonight you go home on time. Not later than 9 p.m. At home, turn off all the lights, sit in the hallway, and wait for my knock. This time, you open. I stared at that text for a long time. This crossed the line. Still, I came home at 8:40, turned on the light, walked around the apartment that no longer felt entirely mine, At 8:59, feeling ridiculous, I turned off every light. Sat down on the floor in the hallway, my back against the wall. My heart was ready to burst. 8:59, 9 o'clock. Silence. 2 minutes passed. 5, 10. And then, knock, knock, knock. Same calm rhythm. I stood up slowly. My hands were sweaty. I'd already removed the chain from the door in advance, just like the rule said. "Who is it?" I asked. No answer. My phone buzzed. "Open. This is the last thing I do for you." I took a breath and opened the door. There was no one in the hallway, only a small black envelope on the floor. I picked it up, brought it inside, locked the door, turned the lights back on, sat down, and opened it. Inside was a printed photo of my front door, taken from inside the apartment. As if someone had stood behind me in the hallway on some previous night and snapped it before leaving. The date stamp, last night. Time, 9 p.m. The second photo, me sleeping. Shot from above, from a corner of my bedroom. Same night as the first knock. The third page, a short handwritten note. "I was the one who came in when you forgot to lock. Stood over you while you slept, and realized you're one of the few who notice details. I don't kill those. I help them avoid dying like everyone else, by accident. From now on, you're on your own. You've learned how to see." At that exact moment, one last message appeared on my phone. Final rule: never ignore what feels like a small detail. For someone, it's an entrance. For you, it's the exit. The profile disappeared. Photo gone. Status: user not found. The chat turned into a dead end. I called the police, showed them the photos, the messages, told them everything. They kept asking, "Why didn't you report earlier? Who could it be? Any enemies? Any strangers in the building? Did you notice anyone?" I walked through my memories again, detail by detail, and only then fully understood how thin the line had been between nothing happened and another short article online. They opened a case, of course. Building cameras just happened not to be working those nights. No fingerprints, no clear leads. To them, it was just a bizarre story. To me, it was an instruction manual. Now when I leave home, I triple-check the lock. I glance at the neighbors' doors. I remember faces in the elevator. I notice the same car parked too many days near my entrance. Not because I'm terrified, because once, someone walked into my life so quietly I didn't hear it, and then, just as quietly, walked me around several stupid deaths. Was he a killer who changed his mind? A twisted guardian playing games with worthy people? Something not entirely human? I don't know. But every time I hear 3 soft knocks on someone else's door in my building, knock, 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 I freeze for a moment and think, someone out there is starting their own set of rules, and I can only hope they notice the details in time.